What's good, folks? It's WARFRAME here with a new Warframe video coming at you with the most brain-dead, easiest way to do level cap Void Cascade. For those who don't know what level cap means, because I get asked this question way too many times, it means the maximum level the enemies can go to, usually seen when you're doing endurance runs. Now, for those saying, you have no life sitting in a mission for hours and hours, Cascade takes 1 hour to get to level 9k. So, yeah. Anyway, why do we do Void Cascade? Well, if you have not seen my video where I earn a bunch of platinum just by doing Void Cascade, well, you should go check that out. Void Cascade has these Thrax units, and when you kill these Thrax units, they drop the Zeraman Arcades. You know, those Molt Augmenteds, those Molt Efficiencies, Eternal, whatever, Cascade, those stuff. That's what they drop. And if you're fortunate like how I was, where you got a mod drop chance booster, that greatly affects the amount of arcanes that drop from those Thrax units. Now, in that Cascade guide, I did show a Varuna setup, and people actually really enjoyed that Varuna setup, and I had 2 Varunas in my Cascade run. And for those saying, oh, but Varuna's bad, she can proc cold, it's barely a noticeable cold proc. And plus, you know what's more annoying than a cold proc on a Thrax? Xata, when you're trying to do headshots. Ooh, tell me about it. But D, can you please fix how Xata works with clients? Because if you're playing in a team, you're not gonna get the headshots. It's always gonna be body shots, and it's so annoying. I don't know why that's a thing. Please fix this. DE, thank you very much. Moving on. Now, what made this Cascade run very easy? Simple. Invisibility. And I did it with Octavia, one of the most boring frames in the entire game, because of her playstyle. But it's a bit different this time around because we're not sitting in one spot teabagging. We're actually moving and zooming and killing things left and right. She already has her 4th ability, Amp, which gives her base damage on all of her weapons. Well, imagine pairing Amp, Green Shards, and Nourish. Oh my god, Knight, can you please stop with these Nourish builds? No, I can't. It was just very easy to do Nourish on this setup. I have 2 Green Shards here that increase my corrosive stacks by 2, so it takes it all the way up to 14, because the base corrosive stacks are at 10. When you get to 14, it's a full armor strip. What happens when you do a full armor strip? Simple. You deal more damage with Viral, and that's why Nourish is here. Very brain dead. And what weapon was so perfect for this level cap Cascade run? The Gnawing Hunger. I mean, the Dual TOXOCYST Incarnate is just an insane secondary weapon. It has so much burst DPS, and on top of that, it's so good with headshots. Let's take a look at the evolutions real quick. The first one gives you multi-shot on ability cast. You can easily do this by going into your operator, in and out, or casting abilities on your Warframe or your operator. Doesn't matter. Stacks up by 20 times. Insane. And then we have recoil reduction, because there's nothing else that's useful here except recoil reduction. And then finally, increase the critical chance by 20%. This increase is applied before mods, meaning it turns into your base critical chance. Perform transference in and out on your operator, and you get the Fevered Frenzy buff, which is that multi-shot evolution on the Dual TOXOCYST. Now, of course, you hit those headshots, you build up your Incarnate meter, activating Carter mode. This is without Nourish, by the way. This is without Nourish, by the way. These are level 200 Steel Path. As you can see, Steel Path modifier, level 200. So yeah, it shreds. And if you put a Viral Elemental damage multiplier on top of that, when you strip armor, you deal more damage to their health. And the best part about killing Thrax units with other status effects is that they carry over to the ethereal form. Unfortunately, Cold does carry over, but here, they have Viral. And that's a multiplier on their health. Shreds the Thrax. It's insane burst, insane damage, shreds fodder enemy units, and it shreds the Thrax. Alright, let's take a look at that Gnawing Hunger build. And yes, I was using the wrong faction mod against those corrupted units, just to show you how good this weapon is. It's powerful. Now, for the base damage, I'm using secondary Deadhead. This is a 360% base damage increase when you get 3 headshots. And it gives you a little extra with a headshot damage multiplier and negative recoil reduction. So with the evolution, that gives me 50%, along with this one, along with this like, I don't get any recoil. This weapon is so steady AF. The reason I'm using Deadhead instead of secondary Cucumber is because that Cucumber has a chance of proccing cold, and you don't want cold to slow down enemies, okay? Now, Deadhead is a huge damage increase. With this alone, it's like having Hornet Strike and Magnum Force together with a little extra. So that's why we don't need to mod it on our weapons, freeing us mod slots. So faction damage to multiply all that damage that we're dealing, multi-shot, additional crit chance with some crit chance over here, your crit damage, fire rate, and galvanized shot for some additional base damage when you proc multiple status effects on the enemy. Now, you notice I have one elemental mod. Well, it's because this weapon is innate toxin with its passive right here. When you get headshots, you get fire rate, you get ammo efficiency. This ammo efficiency only works on its regular mode, by the way, and 100% toxin damage. So that toxin damage with this electric elemental damage combines into corrosive. What does corrosive do? Well, it does a lot of damage to ferrite, and paired with those green shards, I can go over to 14 stacks to get a full strip on enemies. This is going to be very important when you get to that high level stage. And since I'm stripping them, I'm dealing raw viral damage. Nourish is a separate elemental damage multiplier that doesn't combine with your singular elements. So normally, if you don't get headshots, you're going to be dealing viral and electric. But when you get those headshots, you're going to get the whole shebang. Unfortunately, right now, it's a Corpus faction, so it's fine. The third ability on Octavia is the Metronome. You teabag to this beat, you get invisibility, you also get multi-shot. All right, let's head over to... Did I get it? There you go. Simple as that. You chill here, wait for enemies. You can put down your amp and your mallet. Kill enemies. Very easy gameplay.
Cascade receding.
Oh, we got an arcade just for the test. Nice, nice. And we even got a molt augmented. Holy crap. Yeah, that's good shit. So yeah, the Exilizers have their own timers. We can just sit back, chill. The enemies are going to kill themselves on these things. Buddy, 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 buddy. That's right, Thrax are freaking schizos. Alright. There, I got a headshot. Usually the Thrax are freaking schizos, and it can be annoying to get headshots. Let's put that there, put that there. We're chilling. Oh, we got another Exilizer opened up. You can use a contamination wave. Where's he going? Buddy, buddy, buddy. There you go. Trying to get a nice headshot on him. Just be careful. Do not stand in front of your... there you go. Do not stand in front of your mallet, because that will kill you. Well, will shield gate you. You will take damage, and then you will die if you just keep on standing there. So you want to avoid that. So I highly recommend to do this in a group. Oh, here comes the Thrax. Poor guy. Poor guy, man. All right, now that we're back, let's have a look at the builds. Of course, the focus school is going to be Madurai. Why Madurai? Well, we get that crit damage, we get that contamination wave, and we also get that juicy Void Strike. This is the perfect focus school against the Thrax units and just to shred Void Angels if you do encounter them. But if you're not running an armor strip loadout like this with the green shards, then I highly recommend for you to take Unairu. Unairu gives you that Copium PSF, and it gives you Caustic Strike to armor strip enemies, and the Unairu Wisp gives you base damage on your amps. Speaking of amps, let's have a look at our amps. I am using the 577, which is the Cantic Prism, Propus Scaffold, and Certus Brace, aka my Flying Sandhawk. For the Operator Arcanes, I got Cloud and Lockdown. Otherwise, you can take whatever you want. But for the Amp Arcanes, very important. You want Eradicate for the base damage and Onslaught for the crit chance. So you can get 150% crit chance on your primary fire and shred those Thrax units. Also, if you want, you can do the 5-4-7, which is the Cantic, Fod, and Certus Brace. That's also very good if you're using Caustic Strike to armor strip enemies and use your alternate fire to bounce back and forth between enemies. Be careful, if the Thrax is in range, it will proc a Void Bubble and it can mess up your headshots if you're dealing with headshots. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. Now, let's take a look at our Octavia build. In the aura, I have enemy radar plus the enemy radar passive that you get on all Warframes. This gives us a massive radar just to see everything in sight. And of course, Prime Sure-Footed, because spending less time on your butt is a huge DPS increase. Hell yeah. Strength at 223% with Blind Rage and Augur Secrets. Now, this is a modded strength. We get conditional strength from Molt Augmented. Molt Augmented requires you to get 250 kills to give you 60% strength, and Madarai has the Sling Strength node. For those who don't know what that is, you perform 2 Void Slings and you get 40% strength. So Molt Augmented plus this, 100% strength, plus the 223, you get it. You get a lot of strength. Why all of this strength? Simple. It's to buff Nourish and Amp, just to give you way more damage and way more energy, etc, etc. And as if you've noticed, we have negative efficiency. I do have Narrow-Minded here. I do have Narrow-Minded to increase my duration, but at the same time reduces my range. That's why I'm counteracting that with Stretch and Augur Reach together. Then finally, Rolling Guard to cleanse me of status effects or anything that will break my shields, and this is going to be a very useful tool for me to reposition, to get to a safe place, or when you run out of visibility and you're just sitting there like a duck, you want to dodge out of the way, teabag real quick, and go back to being invisible. But I also do have Molt Efficiency. When I have my shields active, I get a bit more duration, and this is going to be easily done because I'm invisible, thanks to her third ability. Taking a look at the Mandachord setup, because this is what you do when you're playing Octavia. Alright, this is the Mandachord. I've had this song for God knows how long. You can see this is the mallet section, this is the resonator section. I replaced resonator because it will make enemies run around like monkeys, and it's going to mess up your headshots. You don't want that. But the most important thing you're going to be running is mallet and metronome. And you want metronome to have the most notes because it's going to be easier for you to teabag too. Number 2, right there. Number 3. And number 4. Have fun, enjoy, easily teabagable song. For my melee weapon, I'm using the Praetus. Does the build matter? No. All you want to have is this evolution and that evolution and dispatch overdrive on the weapon. And then finally moving on to our companion build, which is the Worm. You don't want to use something like the Nautilus, which just sucks in enemies and messes up your headshots. You don't want to be using the Diriga. It messes up your headshots again because it stuns enemies and makes them all flail around like crazy if you have other status effects on your primer weapon. Anyway, but the Worm does something really good because it can run Reinforced Bond and Tenacious Bond. Guardian, negate the go-to Manifold Bond, since we're going to be killing with a lot of stats effects. This is easy money. We're going to refresh our Guardian if our shields do break. Reinforced Bond for that fire rate on our weapons. And then finally, Tenacious Bond for that critical damage increase. And it's going to be easily done with a high critical chance weapon. So you can either use the Volcox or the Volcock. Up to you. All you need to have is a critical delay. And that's it. And if you're using the primary weapon, you got the Vigilante set bonus to give you additional critical tier. Alright folks, this is the easy mode Cascade build using Octavia. Anyway folks, that has been it from me, and I do hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video, because if you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace. Bye-bye now.